Well, Joao is going to talk punting now, and you don't count yourself as a professional punter. I know that. Maybe you can explain why, but also, given the fact that horse racing is your absolute passion, you also don't watch a lot of horse racing, which I find very surprising.
Yes, what I mean by that is, like, I've got really good friends that'll watch the ITV show in the morning, and then they'll sit all day and watch every race one after the other. Have 5 beers and then phone me and say, "Did you see that?" And I'll go, "Well, no, I haven't. I'm sorry. I'm sort of like out having lunch or playing golf or whatever." If I have a bet, then I'll watch the race. And then what I do is, the way I study form means that I do end up watching what I need to watch. Okay. Obviously, if somebody sends me a message saying, "Geez, did you see that thing win wherever?" I'll have a look. But it's not because I don't love it. I think you need to have a balance, right? I like doing other things as well. You know, there's more to me than just giving away 70 hours a week watching racing. I also want to go for dinner, and I want to play golf, and I want to play poker, and I want to take my son swimming and whatever. So obviously there's not enough hours in the day. If you think about it, the racing literally starts whenever the channel launched, and it hasn't stopped. It's Australia, South Africa, French. I mean, where do you stop, right? So, yeah, I'll watch some of the big races. I do go to Cheltenham every year for a couple of days. I also, to be very honest, don't like dressing up. So I'd rather be barefoot in shorts than
you and me
dress like a penguin with a hat on and sweating, getting bumped around. So yeah, I think I do watch enough racing to be okay at doing what I do, which is trying to find value and winners.
So how do you find the winners specifically? And also, you're obviously a very well-connected man in the world of horse racing. How important is inside information?
The famous I heard them say, or they say. Listen, when somebody phones me up and says to me, "This horse is catching pigeons," or "We must see what this thing's doing," I'm like, "Yeah, leave me alone. I'm not interested." So for me, I'll tell you what inside information is for me. Inside information for me is, my horse runs in a race. My trainer tells me that it's 100% ready. It ate all its food, etc., etc. It wins by a length. The horse that ran second beats the third horse by 5 lengths. I know how good my horse is. I know, therefore, more or less how good the second horse is. That's inside information for me. Some guy who's worked this against that, leave me alone. I'm not interested in that. They just don't come off. I mean, I've been in the game a long time, you know. Jockeys, tipping horses, trainers, no, it's very, very hard. So no, I like to do my own thing. Yeah. Specifically, what I do. Well, I suppose at my age now, I might as well just let the cat out the bag, right? Doesn't really matter. It's too late to patent it. So I'm a time guy. I like time. Okay. But unlike everybody else who compares time over averages or ability or whatever, and while I'm talking to you, I'm just going to bring up today's results so I can give you an example. I like to compare, so I do this every night, and that's when I watch races. Okay, so I'm just going to bring Racing Post up quickly. So for me, this is a massive guide for me, and everybody should do this, okay? So we had a race meeting at Ascot today. So I'll tell you how quick it is for me to find a really good performer. We'll start now. Okay, so it's 6 furlongs, 7 furlongs, 1 mile, 1 mile, 4, 1 mile. Okay, so it's 2 mile races, a class 3 and a class 2 at Ascot today. Okay, so there were 2 races at Ascot over a mile, half an hour apart. Not a week apart, on the same day, same surface, same weather condition, everything's the same. I then look at the time for the class 3 and it says 1:41.90. I look at the time for the class 2 and it says 1:40.96. Okay. That is expected, isn't it? The class 2 should have run faster than the class 3. But about 40 times a year, you'll find it the other way around. And for me, that's where I take a lot of pointers from. What I'll do then is I'll put the horse that should have run slower into a tracker. I'll wait for it to run again, hopefully soon. I'll see what kind of race it is. I'll watch the replay. I'll look at the weights then, because maybe it should have run faster because one carried 10 stone and the other one carried 8 stone 4. But if it's the other way around and it does happen, I use that as a massive pointer. So at Ascot today, there were 2 mile races. There were 2 6-furlong races. There was a novice stakes over 6, which ran in 155. And there was, sorry, that was a 7. 155, and the other one ran in 150, whatever. So I do it like that, Julie. I like to compare time on the day, same distance, and then look for the, well, in your case, it would be the A10 dog that ran the a faster time than the A5 dog.
I'm so going to try this. So going to try it.
Same track, same day.
And you managed to find, you say, about 40 horses a year.
You'll find them. Yeah, listen, you'll find them, because especially you'll get a maiden stepped out, or, you know, a class 6 horse that really runs a good time compared to a class 4 horse, for example. Now, when I first got to England, it was challenging to do something with us because you could only back horses each way. But today, you can just, I can today have 800 places on a horse and 200 wins, right? I can take 6-4 place a horse that I think will win, but I'd rather take 6-4 the first 3 and a couple of 100 wins. And if it gets beat based off my theory of time and it runs 2nd or 3rd, I'm still showing a profit. And nobody ever went bankrupt showing a profit, that's for sure. So yeah, that's what I do. I float through them. There's a class 2 and a class 4 at Haydock, a 110.84, 110.05. So the class 2 horse ran 6 furlongs in 1 minute 10 seconds. The class 4 horse ran in 1 minute 10 seconds 0.84. So it's 0.79 of a second slower. I would now look at this horse, and this was a novice stakes. This horse won at 28-1. It beat a 3s on shot, and I would gamble that, with all due respect, Mr. David O'Mara doesn't know he's potentially got a nice horse on his hands.
I love it. I love it. And once you find these horses, and you're obviously making money on these, how easy or difficult do you find it to get a bet on?
No, impossible. So I've accepted the fact that I've got a couple of accounts left, not many. But listen, I share them with the followers that we have, and like I said, when somebody sends us a betting slip, I put up 5 horses 2 Saturdays ago, and one of our members did a £10 each way treble on 3 of our own horses, and he's won £5,000 for 20 quid. I'm like, awesome. I've got a fiber optic and electrical business. That's okay, you know.
But the reason you say you're not a professional punter is because it's just so hard to get on.
Yeah, it's okay. So yeah, it's hard to get on, and then obviously the other thing we're going to touch on is that I prefer to punt on the Tote. Yeah, which we're going to cover later, I'm sure.
Well, we'll talk about that now. You're a massive believer in the Tote, and you also like exotic bets, don't you?
Yeah, I think that's the only way horse racing, and the only betting you should do on horse racing or greyhound racing should be on a Tote. Okay, the worst thing that ever happened, and I love him, the worst thing that ever happened in Britain was Frankie win 7 races, because it created a culture of doubles, trebles, Yankees, and you can't really win money like that. I mean, you can every now and then, but honestly, like the Scoop 6 never took off. I know it didn't, and I know there's new people involved now, but nobody's ever asked me what I think, right? I'll tell you what I think. In South Africa, we have fractional betting. That means you can work out a Scoop 6 for £5,000, but if you've only got a 50 quid in your pocket, you will get 0.001% of that pick 6. Okay. Now, someone might still 0.001% is nothing. Well, sort of, but if it pays 100 grand and you've only laid out 50 and you're getting 1,000, it's all right, right? And that keeps it going, keeps the machine going. And funnily enough, what the Tote does is, everybody moans about it, but what the Tote does is takes money and it puts it back into the sport, like in France, Hong Kong. And I know the pain that greyhound racing goes through, because I've had a couple of greyhounds, and the pain that horse racing goes through, where we're racing for 1,200 quid, 1,400 quid. So I don't think it's ever going to happen. But yeah, I like the fact that you should, the average guy can just take a £2 bet or a £5 bet and scoop the pool. And if we all believed in that, like they do in Hong Kong, then the prices do hold. You can still have 40 grand or 50 grand on a 7-to-1 shot. The price will hold if it's big enough. But I don't think we're ever going to get there. I think that ship has sailed. Yeah. So no, I do like tote betting. I do like taking my exactas and my trifectas, because yeah, I think there's value there. I think you can really win a lot of money for a little outlay.
It's really interesting. It's almost like a theory of not being greedy, almost.
Yeah. So, for example, Julie, there are certain results in horse racing that you cannot fathom, right? I don't care who you are, even if you're the owner of the horse that won or the dog that won. You will not work out that result. So I personally look at certain races and I don't even bother. I'll just put in in South Africa, we just say field. So I'll just put in the field. So if I like a horse, I'll banker it and I'll put in the field if the next race is too hard. And that's where the money comes from, because all of a sudden your horse wins, and then there's like 75-to-1 shot wins, and you're looking at scooping the pool or half the pool or a quarter of the pool or whatever it might be. And to achieve that backing winners in doubles and trebles, I think is very, very difficult. Very difficult.
Before we leave you, I want to just catch up on something that you're actually doing in conjunction with Star Sports, because you're a bit of a pool fan as well, and you're getting involved in the sport. Well, you're getting involved in the sport that maybe has been lacking a little bit. So tell us about what you're doing with Star Sports.
Yeah, so I met Luke from Star Sports. I want to say Chester, but I might be wrong. But I met him at Chester or at an NFL event, and we just became mates. And I was approached about a month and a half, 2 months ago, to sponsor a pool tournament up in Leicester. And the makeup of the tournament meant that I needed a bookmaker on board. So I approached Luke, and at the moment, it's just something that the International Racing Club is doing. I've got Luke on board as the bookmaker. I've got a couple of charities that I've always dealt with on board, and yeah, we're hosting an event up in Leicester. We'll be at Leicester Races on the 20th, and very kindly, Star Sports have sort of agreed to play along for the first one, and hopefully it grows. Evidently, there isn't a lot of money in pool. I'm becoming an expert on it, but yeah, wherever we can help, we always try and help. You know, we're doing a golf day. We're sponsoring a hole at a golf day for the Great Street St. Albans Hospital. I'm not quite sure how to say it. You know, we've done a donation to the IJF, the Injured Jockeys Fund. We're always trying to do something to give back. Like I said, it's not about the money. Always, it's never been about the money. I'd rather tip the jackpot straight line, and a lot of people win money and just go out for a nice meal and just party, to be honest. Obviously, we haven't done that for 18 months. I'm so looking forward to being able to travel again. I've got an excellent trip booked for the Breeders' Cup, where I'm taking some of our clients over. And yeah, they turn out to be epic, and we build memories with friends, and that's what the International Racing Club's about. And actually, that's what I'm about. I'm quite an extrovert. I like people, and yeah, those that didn't know that, you do know now.
Well, I think that really comes across, to be fair, and I've really enjoyed this chat. I'm sure the viewers will as well. And yeah, if people want to get involved, they'll know where to find you now, and I hope
they'll find us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and we'll catch up again soon. But for now, take care. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Julie.